What is up, guys? Eric here from EVM Productions, here with my UFC 311 short picks. I'm not going to break it down anymore. A lot of guys doesn't seem to have the attention span to just sit and listen for my reasoning why I'm picking who I'm picking. So I have 7 picks out of this card because, again, I explain it on every card these days because not everybody that's on the card is interesting to watch. I watched the fight night and I watched actually quite a few fights, and the same situation happened. I was like, listen, I'm happy I didn't sleep, did not lose sleep and watch these guys that I don't know, because a lot of these people are not that good. Now, obviously, there's a certain few people that pops up, but if we all are being honest, we have like 3 or 4 prospects coming up right now. One of them is on this card. It's Peyton Talbot. But you see, like 3 or 5 is really a small amount out of the whole roster. Like one fight night has more fights than those 5. So the other guys are subpar or just boring to watch, and fighting okay. And that I'm not putting myself through that the whole time. I've seen that for years. Like, go to your regional scene, watch your entire regional card live in person. Then you have the same experience. Well, actually, we have better experiences then, because it's usually bloodbaths. But anyway, moving on. Let's start with my first pick. Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. I'm picking Jailton Almeida. Next up, we have Peyton Talbot versus Rione Barcelos. Apparently, a lot of guys feel that Barcelos just fell off because of age and stuff. So they would have picked different if the age difference was there. Like if it was prime Barcelos, which sounds weird in a way. But yeah, I do feel they're not seeing how slick Peyton Talbot is. Peyton Talbot is very sharp. All round, guys. Like, I rewatched the Simon fight and his other fights as well. And I was like, this dude's shot selection and his eyes is so good. His reaction time, his eyes, and his shot selection is very good. So good, in fact, that he indirectly causes you to do things that he wants you to do, and then he capitalizes. Anyway, let's move on. I'm picking Peyton Talbot. Next up, Kevin Holland versus Rainier de Ridder. So I wanted to pick Holland just to be like on purpose, but no, picking Rainier de Ridder. He's used to being a bit bigger, and obviously the wrestling, grappling. Next up, Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Now, I'm not like everybody else who feels this is a foregone conclusion. I feel it's going to be a harder fight than we think. A much harder fight than Renato Moicano fought BSD. Honestly, I really feel that's going to be, it's going to show that this is a harder fight for him. However, I feel his grappling, the way he's grappling right now, let me say it like that, is stronger right now than Beneil Dariush. Dariush looked very limp, if you understand what I mean, in his previous fights, his previous 2 fights, before getting starched. Well, no, wait, 3. Let me say 3 fights, because, it's been a while, actually. That doesn't bode well. So, I'm picking Renato Moicano. Next up, Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. So many people are picking Yuri, which I understand. We all feel a bit bad that he got beaten so badly. Like, I did feel horrible that he got beat so badly by Ferreira in the rematch. However, I'm picking Jamal Hill because way back I picked Jamal Hill for the same reason. Hill is a little bit sharper, and the way that Yuri fights means he gets tagged a ton. Now, in the eyes of the judges, that doesn't bode well. And what I'm thinking is this is going to be a very good fight to where it ends with a TKO, or it's not going to end that way. It's going to end in a decision with Jamal Hill having picked Yuri off, like literally just peppered him with shots the whole time while he was coming forward. Blood and shit and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm picking Jamal Hill. Next up, Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Everybody else is picking Umar. I'm picking Merab. I rewatched the Sean O'Malley fight, the Peter Yan fight, the Henry Cejudo fight of Merab. Then I watched Umar's last few fights. Umar had a few more striking-oriented fights. Then he's shown his grappling versus Sandhagen. Now, Sandhagen obviously improved, you could see it, but one thing that's for sure, on the feet, Sandhagen fought inefficiently or deficiently, in my opinion, and on the ground, he just defended, and it really looked like Umar was struggling his ass off to keep Sandhagen on the ground and do anything. Merab, in comparison, fought a guy similar in style to Sandhagen in O'Malley and got him down. He kept him down for longer and actually landed ground and pound 2 or 3 times in the fight. Then on the cage, he's better. He's just outright better on the cage. I feel if he implements a mix of these styles and also just bites down on his mouth guard and swings, he will land hard enough. Well, he will be effective enough to not let Umar just come forward like a bulldozer on the feet, because that's where the scary part is. It's not like Peter Yan that's scared of the takedown, so he doesn't throw the same way. It's not O'Malley throwing because he's a bit scared on the feet. It's not Cejudo even. Cejudo was even as well hesitant, but also, I will say, Cejudo had a better game plan versus Merab as well. But the point is, all of these guys are strikers that, well, lean more towards striking and were a bit more scared to throw. Umar won't. That's why Merab staying on the feet and not shooting in very often will be him shooting himself in the foot. He needs to fight him how he fought Yan. He shouldn't fight him the way he fought O'Malley. O'Malley was kind of hesitant from his side as well, because he respected his effective striking better. With Yan, he knew Yan just had power, but it doesn't have that just touch you and turn you off kind of power. A close friend of mine, he's also a skinny dude, well, relatively skinny. He has that touch. Just touches you, you literally see black for a moment if he hits you. And everybody else I've seen him hit, they really felt it. And that is a different kind of feeling. It's not you being scared of the punch that's coming. It's you not knowing if you're just going to be there. So it's a gamble. That's what I'm saying. Other guys, they just hit so bloody hard, and don't let that land. It will break bones and stuff. So when you're fighting this person, you know what to do. You need to neutralize that power, or you need to just never get hit. Pure boxing then. Hit, but don't get hit. Then, on the cage, to me, Merab is a lot better wrestling against the cage. He neutralizes people better there. And on the ground, to me, he's a little bit better. I think Umar is better when he secured the takedown and controls you on the ground. However, he struggled to do that in many of his fights. Many of his fights, you guys can go back and check. That's why I'm picking Merab. He's a bit better on the control side and getting you there. Then he is also better against the cage, and he's decent enough on the feet. He does weird things that make strikers just fight finicky. And it's kind of like when you spar somebody that doesn't train. They land shots that they shouldn't be landing because they're throwing it from weird angles, weird tempos, weird timing. They react to different stuff where you usually open for that split moment before you attack or so. And that's when they land a shot. And you're like, damn it, man, why did this person touch me that is untrained? Meanwhile, it's because the weird angles, the timing, etc. The only difference is an untrained person doesn't have power. Somebody like Merab, he has decent power. Every time I saw him land strikes on Yan and Cejudo, they reacted like vividly. It was shown in their body language. He even rocked Yan lightly at one point, and that's when I was like, he hits hard actually. Umar hits effective and hard, but it's different. It's different. So I'm picking Merab. I feel he has a few things more than Umar. Now, it won't shock me if we see a next level of Merab and he's just, Umar. We see a next level of Umar and he just pops out and literally just dominates A to B like Islam did over Charles Oliveira. So, I'm picking Merab. I'm going against the grain, and people are going to kill me for this one, but it's cool. All right, talking about Islam, let's move on. It's his rematch versus Arman Sayukian. And I rewatched this fight like 3 times this week, the first fight now. And the only problem that I have is when I watched the Charles Oliveira fight for Sayukian, I was like, he's in a similar position at one point that Islam found himself versus Charles. Now, just a bit better in my opinion. He secured it a bit better because you could see in the first round, Islam was not fully secured when he got on top. That's the only reason why at one point he just stands up and just moves away. MMA Shea, he broke it down and he said it's because of Charles attacking with jiu-jitsu the whole time. Now, yes, that is true. However, I think it's also because Islam was like, this is not really a secure spot in the sense of I can't really attack from here. I can't attack. It's not the other way around. It's not that I'll be in too much danger. It's that I can't attack fully from here. So let me get back up because I was already winning on his feet. And then when I get him on the ground again, like he tried later and he did get the finish. It really makes sense if you understand. That was kind of the plan in the end as well. Because, it makes more sense if you think about it that way. It was not per se, oh, I'm scared I'm going to get caught. It was, this position is not secure right now. I need to reset it so I can secure it. I've done this many times when I'm sparring somebody on the feet, where this person's landing a certain few strikes. And I'm like, okay, crap. See, he's landing this because I'm not in the position or reacting the way I should or seeing the shots the way I should. So I need to position myself in a different spot, different way, think different, etc. Like there's a checklist, a huge checklist. It's very funny when I get into sparring, I always start slow and then I snowball mentally, and from there I go through this huge checklist automatically, and then success just comes. It takes a while with more skilled guys, but the same thing happens almost every time. And the only time I really know this doesn't happen is when I'm dead tired or when I'm against a guy that's just leagues above me, which then I'm being a fanboy and just enjoying the technique coming my way, understanding that my training partner could kill me. They could kill me. I had one training session with a guy double my size and weight, 130 kilograms, big dude, very nasty guy to fight. And I remember we went at it proper, and afterwards I'm like busy taking gloves off. We're all full of sweat and pain, marks everywhere. But I was happy because I did very well versus him, versus everybody outside of coach. Because every time I got to coach, I was gassed as hell. And I was like, oh no. Because then, if you're gassed, you move in slow motion. So anyway, I'll bring it back to Islam versus Sayuka and give you guys my pick now, but there's a reason. However, at one point, while we were busy packing up and talking about other things, the other guys, they weren't like me talking about what happened in the sparring. Like, I instantly review it. I don't know why. These guys were just like, oh well, yeah. Maybe it's because I've been doing it so long, but for me, it's, even though I'm doing it daily, I would go back, review, improve. But I don't know, maybe it's just my mentality is a bit different there, which there's no wrong way to do this if you are high level. And I mean high level for amateurs, because I know our group in our club does very well. Anyway, back to what I want to say. So while we're doing this, and I noticed that this big guy could have destroyed me using his legs, his knees, and I was like, I wonder how much of his power he really used. And that's something to think about there. And then some of the other guys with the technical side used their wrestling on and off. They didn't really use their skill, the wrestling, like Islam, constantly. Now, Islam has been doing very well with his striking. That's how I'm bringing this in. He is kind of like that big guy. He doesn't use all of his weapons, meaning the ground game, to its fullest degree right now, because he has been doing better striking. That's why he striked with Dustin Poirier a bit more, and also because of the staph infection. I think that had a big role there. Same with Volkanovski. That's why he knocked him out. He knew what he could do. And in the first Arman fight, Islam was ahead with the striking, but you could see it's very rough on, like, people like to make fun of the initial flurry that Islam threw at Arman. in that fight because it looks a little bit derpy. It looks kind of like how Khabib looked in some of his older fights. However, he's improved tremendously since then. Now, that is the problem that I'm seeing in my head. I see Arman coming out, very aggressive. I think he's going to come out like a steam train. But obviously, Islam's just going to handle it fully perfectly. And from there, his counters is just going to land. And I really think Islam can drop and then submit Arman. But I'm just going to pick Islam by decision for now. I don't know, but maybe we get a 5-round wrestling and striking bonanza like the first fight. That would be so cool in my opinion, because we will see another guy push Islam to the limit. Now a lot of guys will be like, oh no, but we want to see him dominate. So what? This would be better in my opinion, because we learn more. Well, certain people learn more from this. I'm gonna rewatch it a million times to learn what they used. Is there anything I can pull into my arsenal when I'm training, etc., or when I get back to training right now? Yeah, so just going to go through there. I'm picking Jalton, Almeida, Talbot, De Ridder, Moicano, Hill, Merab, and then Islam. So it's kind of me leaning into what the betting odds are leaning into outside of the Merab fight, which is fine. It's just me being objective there. So yeah, guys, put your picks in the comments below. Cheers. Bye.